sat on my deck this Sunday afternoon, staring at the paddleboard that was used to save Trinity Eslingers' mama's life. I can't help but think about that night and everything that happened. And I was trying not to talk about it because it was just so horrendous, but I feel like the details need to be shared from my perspective. As the tragedies of that night unfolded before my eyes at Osteen Beach, I had just been on the paddleboard moments before the incident. I encouraged my niece, who is an RN, to get on the paddleboard. Even though she didn't want to, I was encouraging her to do so. And when she did, it was God's intervention that she was on that paddleboard to be able to save that mama's life. She is trained in how to handle these types of tragic situations, and I feel like we all need to be trained and ready for a tragedy because you never know when something's going to happen. None of us ever went to Destin thinking anything like this could be possible. As a beautiful evening suddenly turned completely tragic. I was following my niece as she was riding on the paddleboard, yelling at her to sit down because I saw the waves getting stronger, and I was about waist deep as this was going on. I was in between her and the paddleboard and the shoreline. I saw the boat and the man that reached his hands into the water, and I was holding on to two hands. I heard the cries for help, and then I saw Trinity's mom pop out of the water. My niece quickly paddled over there and started trying to hand her the oar as I saw the boy being pulled onto the boat. As they were paddling back to shore, the lady was just screaming over and over again to help her baby, help Trinity. As I heard the cries for help, I quickly yelled to my 10-year-old daughter on the shore to please throw me her goggles because I was already so far in because I had seen what the waves were doing. I quickly grabbed the goggles, put them on, and started diving over and over again, swimming out deeper and deeper. As I was going down and up, all I could see as I was searching for this little baby was in front of me. After this little drop off where you could see everything, I just saw darkness, nothing but pure darkness. My niece's husband then joined me in the search as we just kept diving over and over. When I finally realized that we couldn't keep doing it, or we were going to drown too, I then looked over and said to him, "We can't do this anymore. It's too much darkness." It seemed like forever. I just kept going down and holding my breath and looking. I just kept praying to God that He would show her to us. But it was God's way of the way everything worked out, and my niece being on the paddleboard when she was to pull her mama safely up on that paddleboard. When I realized that there was nothing more we could do and all I knew we could do was float, and I told him that, I heard her mama's wails and screams get louder and louder. I knew by the feel of the currents that we were just waiting to be rescued ourselves. I was so glad that I was the one in between where the paddleboard was and the shoreline, because they were able to hear me at the shoreline when I called 911, 911, 911. My husband heard and immediately called. When we realized we could do nothing more, he then used the paddleboard again to swim out to us to bring us back to safety. Even though we were not supposed to be at that location that night, I believe it was God's plan for us to be there, to be able to help save Trinity's mama's life, and to be able to do our best to do all we could in this horrible tragedy. I was so upset when my husband had bought this paddleboard, and I said it's too expensive, and we hadn't even got to use it the whole entire trip, and we did that last day. He was determined for us to use it, and I was the first one on it and in the water, and God had us there for a moment such as this. We were meant to be there that night. It's been so difficult to process all the information the past couple of days. It's been hard for us to even talk about it amongst ourselves. much less share any information that we have. I'm so glad that we were able to be there because of God. Because of God only, we were able to be there so that my niece could be on this paddleboard at the exact moment that it needed to occur to be able to save Trinity's mom's life. She has other babies, and that she is needed and she is loved. As the police were taking our statements, my niece got her water and Kind bars for her and her family while they waited on shore as the rescue teams arrived. There were so many people in the ocean searching for Trinity, and they still are. God bless you all in your searches. Keep everyone safe and bring peace to Trinity's mama and her family. And we send much love from Texas.